Chapter 21, Make a Wish and Get a Beautiful CEO's Wife. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hold on a second, the idea of getting rich quick still won out, and he asked eagerly, can the money be transferred from the US and Japan? As long as it's not from China, it's okay. Yang Ling was being a real jerk. He was so focused on making money, he didn't care about the well-being of people overseas. Ding. The system will allocate funds proportionally to each country's population worldwide. Ugh. Yang Ling was speechless. China has a huge population, so it has to be proportional. Who knows how many people in China will get hit hard, and with all that money suddenly appearing in their accounts, they'll definitely be treated like lab rats. Oh, so you're still messing with me? That with a sigh, Yang Ling gave up on this cheating system and said casually, forget the money, just give me a super rich and beautiful wife. Ding. Wish granted. The system will search for suitable candidates nearby. Whoa. Yang Ling almost jumped out of his skin. He was just kidding, but the wish actually worked. This is like an unlimited wish buffet. 10 trillion isn't enough. How about being Superman? Or at least give me some kind of special power. He tried to cancel it, but got a cold reply from the system, unlimited wishes cannot be undone. Yang Ling gave a bitter smile, but then he reconsidered. With this system's track record, there's no way it'll let me become Superman or anything crazy like that. While Yang Ling was getting annoyed, the system chimed in again, ding. Match found. Your wife's net worth is $4 billion. She's a beautiful 27-year-old female CEO. The system will arrange everything in the most reasonable way. Ding. You receive 1 charm point. Yang Ling gasped. $4 billion. That's even richer than Tianjuan's family. And a beautiful female CEO too. He was starting to get excited. System, what about her? What's her name? Let me meet her. Ding. Please be patient, host. You will meet her soon. This system has chosen a perfect match for you and will not disappoint. Oh. Hearing this, Yang Ling felt uneasy. This system is shady, and who knows what kind of wife it'll find for him, but it was done. He calmed himself down, a beautiful CEO. Bring her on. Who's afraid? After pulling himself together, he was about to head to the bookstore as planned when his phone rang. He pulled out his new purchase and saw it was his dad calling. The old man has been poor his whole life and hates wasting money on calls. Sure enough, his dad said he had to come home for dinner tonight, that he had something important to announce, and it was all very mysterious. Yang Ling hung up and headed to Xinhua bookstore. The mountain of books has a path, and diligence is the way. The sea of learning is boundless, and hard work is the ship. That's the motto for tons of students, but it definitely didn't apply to Yang Ling. He stood in front of a bookshelf full of college entrance exam prep books and quickly flipped through them. He scanned each book in under 10 seconds, saving almost all the content as images, and then quickly moved on to the next. Most people would think he was just looking for books, but he knew he wasn't looking, or even reading, them. He was devouring them, but as time passed, he frowned slightly. Chapter 22 Gain Mastery of Ability Deduction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He's kind of simple-minded. Learning isn't just about memorizing things. You need to really get it. Take math, for example. You can memorize the formulas all you want, but you still have to apply them in different situations, and with English, knowing vocabulary is important, but you have to be able to use the grammar too. Just memorizing words won't cut it. Suddenly, Yang Ling had an idea and asked, hey system, you said that unlimited wishing was a bonus. Does that mean it's useless for me to make another wish? Ding. The host also has a regular wish available. You can use it now or save it for later. Your wishing points will be recalculated. Sweet. Yang Ling was thrilled and tentatively asked, I want superpowers. Can I wish for that? Ding. Ordinary wishing cannot grant the host extraordinary abilities that are beyond the comprehension of ordinary people. Figures. Yang Ling smiled wryly. He knew that extraordinary abilities like controlling lightning or flying, things people could see, were off limits. His photographic memory was already a kind of superpower, but it was an internal ability, an unlimited one at that. After a pause, Yang Ling said seriously, "Okay, I wish I had super calculation abilities." Ding! Wish granted. The host has acquired the skill, proficient deduction. You can now deduce and restore the essence of things from a single clue, arriving at the only correct truth. Note, this ability consumes mental energy. The more complex the deduction, the greater the energy drain, and the longer the deduction time. Ding! You gained 1 charm point. As the system finished speaking, a cool sensation washed over Yang Ling's mind. He suddenly understood things about eating books that hadn't made sense before. He realized that if he wanted to, he could solve really tough math problems quickly. And in English, he could use the grammar he had learned more fluently, even better than the teacher. This ability really made him happy. With this ability, combined with his memory, he could totally be a scientist. Give him enough time, and he could design some crazy stuff. He dove back into his books. Now, if he hit a snag, he could figure it out with just a little thought. He was confident he could complete all the advanced courses in a few days and really master the material. Time flew by, and it was already 4 in the afternoon. After hours of reading, Yang Ling felt a bit dizzy. Since his dad said he wanted to see him, he left the bookstore and headed home. The Yang Ling family lived in what used to be a state-owned enterprise's employee housing, which had become a regular neighborhood after the company was privatized. It was an older area. It was around 6 when he got home. He collected 2 wish points on the way, so the walk wasn't a total waste. As soon as he opened the door, his mom rushed over, asking worriedly, "Xiao Ling, is your head all right?" Yang Ling smiled, nodded, and said, "The hospital checked me out. I'm fine." "That's good." His mom started to say something else, but a loud voice interrupted. "The star of the show is finally here. We can eat." If you like the God-level wish system all-domain domination, please bookmark it. God-level wish system all-domain domination 8 Kungshu.com has the fastest update speed. Dear, this chapter is over. I wish you happy reading. Big smiley face. Chapter 23 Dare to Beat My Money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I realized, looking around the living room, that besides my parents, my aunt and another aunt were there, along with her 2 kids, my cousins. The sister was taller, but her brother was definitely the handsome one. I always tried to be polite around my elders, so I greeted everyone, including my cousins. Dinner was ready, like they were all waiting for me. I noticed the awkward looks on my parents' faces and the pleading in my other aunt's eyes. Something was definitely up. My sister, Yang Shui, was nowhere to be seen. Typical wild child. Sure enough, after a few bites, my aunt started in. "So, Xiao Ling," she said, "I heard about the bonus from your job. 100 grand, right?" I nodded. "Yeah, what about it?" My aunt, looking pleased with herself, chimed in, "Well, you know college is coming up. And Xiaocheng, bless his heart, he's gonna get his degree. Your father and I agreed that 100 grand could cover Xiaocheng's tuition for now. He'll pay you back when he starts making money." I was stunned. I glanced at my dad, saw his tight-lipped smile, and immediately understood. He's too nice. And my aunt? She's got a mouth on her. He probably couldn't stand up to her. My mom is too kind to ever say no to anyone. I frowned, looking at my arrogant cousin and my aunt's fake enthusiasm. I forced a smile and said, "Sorry, I actually need that money myself. You'll have to borrow from someone else." "What?" My aunt practically jumped out of her chair. "You're a security guard. What do you need that kind of money for? You gotta prioritize. Xiaocheng's going to college. Tuition, living expenses, dates, he needs it way more. It's a loan. We said we'd pay you back." My cousin, who hadn't said a word until now, piped up, "Don't sweat it, cuz. When I make it big, I'll hook you up. You won't have to be a security guard anymore. Come work for me, I'll start you at 5 grand a month." These two were really putting on a show, mocking me. I sneered inwardly, but kept my face neutral. Speaking of loans, I said, I seem to remember you borrowing 20 grand from my dad last year. Still haven't paid that back, have you? And now you want more, that my cousin shut up, looking embarrassed. Young guy, gotta save face. But my aunt jumped right in, we're family. That's just helping each other out. What's gotten into you? You used to be so respectful. A few days at that job and you're acting like this? Is that any way to talk to your elders? That I took a sip of my Coke, then said casually, I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. You've had your own business all these years. You can't afford tuition. In fact, I was planning on coming by your place to get all the money you've borrowed over the years, 40 or 50 grand, right? Since you're here, let's clear things up. When can we expect that money back? That everyone was shocked silent. This wasn't the Yang Ling they knew. He used to be a pushover. Now he was refusing to lend money and demanding repayment. The change was unreal. If you like the God-level wish system all-domain domination, please bookmark it. God-level wish system all-domain domination 8kungshu.com has the fastest update speed. Dear, this chapter is over, I wish you a happy reading. Big smiley face. Chapter 24, Good people are deceived by others. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Ling's parents just stared at him, but his aunt was completely shut down. The silence was thick and awkward. Yang Ling took another swig of Coke, watching his aunt with a cool detachment. This relative had always run roughshod over them, costing the family dearly. His parents were too passive, and his little sister was still too young. Today, he was stepping up to the plate for his family. His aunt was fuming, furious that the little punk had talked back and demanded repayment. How dare he? She jumped to her feet, snapping at Yang Ling's father. Yang Jianjun, we had an agreement. What's with the sudden change of heart? Since when does a kid call the shots in this family? Act like a man for once. Hearing this, Yang Jianjun choked down a mouthful of wine, ready to defend himself, but Yang Ling firmly pushed him back down. He was taken aback by the unexpected force on his shoulders, gentle but undeniable. Looking at his son's composed face, he felt a mix of confusion and awe. His son had grown up. The little hands that used to cling to him now possessed strength and resolve. He'd struggled his whole life, but he'd raised a good son. The thought brought a wave of bittersweet emotion, and his eyes glistened. He stayed silent, taking another sip, but the bitterness from before was gone. Yang Ling spoke, if my father isn't a man, how did I and my sister get here? Besides, aren't men the ones who lend money? Why did my aunt drag my little cousins into this? Looks like my uncle's the one who isn't much of a man. Tit for tat, insult for insult. Yang Ling wasn't one to back down. He'd even stomped on Tianzhuian's foot, so he sure wasn't going to take this lying down. His words hit hard. His aunt's face twisted, and his cousin Lin Dong jumped up, yelling, You saying my dad's not a man? Say that again, I dare you. Thump, that with a muffled thud, Yang Ling slammed his hand on the table, cracking it and sending dishes flying. He shot to his feet, eyes blazing, What, you can dish it out, but you can't take it, huh? He stalked toward Lin Dong, stopping right in front of him. Each word was delivered like a blow. Listen up, I said your father's not a man. What are you gonna do about it? An aura of raw power radiated from him, sending shivers down everyone's spines. Fear flashed in Lin Dong's eyes as he finally understood what murderous intent really meant. He remembered now that this cousin, about his age, had taken down a serial armed robber single-handedly. Lin Dong's knees buckled, and he crumpled to the floor. Yang Ling looked down on his cousin and his aunt, their faces etched with fear. He knew he'd made his point. Humph, he snorted. I'm letting you two off easy because we're family. But if you ever talk trash to my parents again, you'll regret it. Nice guys finish last. His family had always been too passive, but those days were over. Chapter 25 Die This Heart. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Ling's intense presence silenced everyone. His cousin, Lin Xiaoye, whose dress was still stained with spilled food, was now paralyzed with fear, unable to utter a single word. Yang Ling glared at his aunt, who was completely taken aback, and stated flatly, "We're not lending you money. Drop it." His words were harsh, leaving everyone shocked, scared, and resentful. She was used to throwing her weight around because her husband was a businessman. She always lorded over the relatives, but now, her nephew was even fiercer, seemingly not caring about burning bridges. He was so decisive. Just then, the system's voice chimed in Yang Ling's mind, "Ding. Wish fulfilled, Aunt Gu's desire to borrow money has been crushed. Attribute point +1. Ding. Wish fulfilled, aunt and cousin's desire to mock you has been crushed. Attribute point +1. Ding. Wish fulfilled, your parents' wish to not lend money has been granted. Wish value +1. Ding. System prompt, filial piety is paramount. Fulfilling your parents' wishes aligns with this system's core values, unlocking a hidden reward, a fully mastered skill. Random skill extraction commencing. Before Yang Ling could process it, the system announced, "Ding. You have acquired the skill, Cooking Mastery." Cooking Mastery? You want me to be a chef? He paused, then a smile crept onto his face. "Hey, you can never have too many good things." Ignoring the system, he looked at his mother and asked gently, "Mom, where's that little notebook you use for the accounts? Get it out and show my aunt. Let's do a little math today and see how much she owes and when she plans on paying it back." Aunt Gu finally found her voice and snapped, "Yang Ling, don't push it. You know the connections my husband has. You think he can't find someone to rough you up? Oh, threatening me now, are we?" Yang Ling's expression darkened. He walked towards Aunt Gu, his eyes fixed on her. Seeing her fear, he said coldly, "I hate it when people threaten me, anyone at all. Go on, say it again. I dare you." Gu felt like she was being stared down by a predator. One wrong word, and she was sure he'd tear her apart. Without hesitation, trembling, she stared at Yang Ling, fear evident in her voice. What are you doing?" Everyone was stunned by Yang Ling's intensity. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Everyone looked surprised. Yang Ling's mother instinctively went to open it, and was taken aback by the group standing outside. 8 men and women in suits walked in, led by a kind-faced young man she recognized from TV, the top leader of S-City. Behind him were Song Baoi, the head of the police, and Su Qiuxia, the beautiful officer who was Yang Ling's direct supervisor. While she didn't know the others, she could guess who they were by their demeanor. Yang Ling remembered Su Qiuxia mentioning that the leaders would visit him and his family soon, but he hadn't expected them to show up so quickly. Chapter 26. Let him show you a hand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The man who seemed to be in charge, a genuinely nice guy, was a little surprised to see Yang Ling. Then, he smiled and said, "Hey, Yang Ling, right? Heard about the great work you've been doing. You've been a huge help to your superiors. Really impressive, taking down evil, especially at your age." Yang Ling quickly shook his hand. "You're too kind, sir. It's just what I should be doing. Please, come on in and have a seat. Sorry for the mess." Everyone then noticed the living room was a disaster, with food scattered everywhere. The head honcho chuckled. "Yang Ling, what happened here? Who made this mess?" Yang Ling scratched his head, embarrassed, while Song Baoi subtly gestured from behind. He quickly said, "Just a sec, I'll clean it up." After a quick cleanup, the friendly leader sat on the sofa, chatting easily with Yang Ling and his parents. My aunt, cousin, second cousin, and even great-aunt Mildred, who was just there to fill the space, were all stunned. The big boss from City S was in Yang Jianjun's living room with a camera crew. Was the young woman a reporter? More importantly, look at how Yang Ling, Song Baoi, and Su Qiuxia were acting. Like old friends catching up. These two are celebrities in City S. Could Yang Ling actually be friends with them? That's a game changer. Gu and the others could barely believe it, but they couldn't deny what was happening in front of them. Now, they were all frozen in place. High-level people were chatting away, and they were too intimidated to even excuse themselves. Gu finally understood how naive, even ridiculous, she had been acting earlier. Her husband had a small business and knew a lot of people, but compared to the people in this room, his connections were nothing. She remembered something she saw on TV, a robin among crows, a mule among horses. Now, she truly understood that saying. Yang Ling saw their expressions and secretly grinned, but then he noticed Lin Dong, who was staring intently at the camera woman. Yang Ling looked too, and was a little surprised. The camera woman was stunning, almost as beautiful as Su Qiuxiao. She was the youthful, vibrant type. No wonder Lin Dong was so captivated. Suddenly, an irritated voice snapped him out of it. Yang Ling, the leaders are here. What are you staring at? That it was Su Qiuxiao. Yang Ling instinctively flinched and quickly looked away. Su Qiuxiao huffed, rolled her eyes at him, and then seemed to realize something, her face flushing slightly. Just then, Yang Ling's mother, who was basking in the leader's kind words, piped up, "You all haven't eaten yet, have you? Why don't you stay for a light meal?" That the friendly leader looked over at Yang Ling, who was talking to Su Qiuxiao, and was impressed. He liked this young man. He was down to earth, didn't try to flatter him, and spoke well. Most importantly, he had real talent. For the first time, he turned to Song Baoyi and said, "Hey, Song, what do you say we grab some grub before we head out?" Song Baoyi laughed. "Sounds good to me, Mrs. Yang. We're a big group, so we appreciate you putting up with us." Yang Ling's mother sighed and was about to head into the kitchen to start cooking, but then her eyes lit up. "You know, my son, Xiao Yang, is an amazing cook. He'll whip something up for you all. That if you like the God-level wish system all-domain domination, please collect it. God-level wish system all-domain domination 8kungshu.com has the fastest update speed. Dear, this chapter is over. I wish you a happy reading. Big smiley face. Chapter 27. I have never eaten such delicious tofu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh, the director said, surprised. Yang, who knew you had this talent? Looks like we're in for a treat today. That even Su Qiuxiao looked on with curiosity. Yang frowned. He didn't know how to cook, and it was clear she was trying to embarrass him in front of the director. This was too much, setting him up to fail. The old Yang might have been at a loss, but he just smiled. Give me a few minutes. I'll whip something up for you all. Yang's parents exchanged glances. They knew their son better than anyone. Yang had never stepped foot in the kitchen. How could he possibly cook something delicious? Yang's mom started to get up to help, but the director chuckled, let the young man handle it. Su, Yang helped you out a lot. Let him show off his skills today. Su Qiuxiao was caught off guard. Because Yang Ling caught the robber, she got a commendation and was about to be promoted. She'd been looking for a way to thank him, plus, she wanted to see what this Tai Chi Chuan cooking was all about. She got up, agreed, and headed for the kitchen. Seeing Yang Ling was really going to cook, a sneer crept across her face as her plan succeeded. In the kitchen, Yang Ling looked at the mountain of ingredients and his mouth twitched. He picked up a kitchen knife and got to work. Ding! Cooking mastery skill activated. The system chimed in as he started slicing a winter melon with movements almost too fast to see. Su Qiuxiao's jaw dropped, her face showing utter disbelief. Yang's grip on the knife was incredible, and his speed was astounding. Each piece of winter melon was uniform, as if machine-cut, but what surprised her even more was the sound of the knife against the cutting board. There seemed to be a special rhythm that was intoxicating. The highest form of culinary art was making every step, from preparing the ingredients to cooking, a beautiful and pleasing sight. Su Qiuxiao stared at Yang, realizing she was helpless. She didn't even dare to make a sound, afraid to break the rhythm and ruin the work of art. Soon, the sounds of cooking filled the air, followed by the aroma of vegetables, making everyone's mouths water. The others were chatting, but their minds were elsewhere. They were all secretly drooling. 30 minutes later, the director eyed the fragrant food on the table and quietly swallowed. He grinned and said, Yang, you're amazing. Not only are you brave enough to catch robbers, but you've also got some serious skills in the kitchen. I'll be the judge of your art. That he picked up a piece of tofu skin. The moment he put it in his mouth, the director paused, his eyes narrowed, and his face filled with bliss. After a moment, noticing everyone staring at him, the director looked at Yang and said, "I've never tasted such delicious tofu in my life." "Whoa," that the others gasped. For the director to say something like that, the dishes must be truly outstanding. Chapter 28. If you want to step on it to the end. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing this, Song Baoyi couldn't hold back anymore. He chuckled, "Hey, boss, is it really that good? I gotta try some." That he grabbed a piece of braised pork, shoved it in his mouth, and his reaction was even more over the top than the big leader's. But this time, he didn't say a word. He just kept his head down, shoveling it in like he wanted to swallow his own tongue. Seeing that, everyone immediately dug in without waiting for an invitation, and a chorus of MMMs and ahs filled the air. They all ate like there was no tomorrow. Status be damned. Su Qiuxia chewed on a piece of winter melon, her eyes narrowing with pleasure. She came from a well-to-do family and had tasted the finest delicacies, but this home-style cooking was in a completely different league. She was becoming more and more impressed with Yang Ling. Yang Ling's parents exchanged a happy glance and beamed at their son. Their boy was finally making something of himself. Ding! You fulfilled everyone's craving for delicious food. Wish value +1. Current progress, April 10th. Meanwhile, the ant was in total disbelief. No way. Yang Ling never goes near the kitchen. She grabbed a piece of winter melon and popped it into her mouth. The shock hit her first, then enjoyment, and finally, a look of utter dismay. Yang Ling smirked. "What's wrong? Hard to swallow. You thought you could make me look bad, huh? Sorry to disappoint you." That he spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. You don't air dirty laundry, but this woman dared to embarrass him in front of these leaders. He wasn't backing down. Politeness was out the window. Now that the gloves were off, he was going to take her down. Everyone looked over, surprised. The people at the table were no dummies, and they quickly figured out what was going on. They chewed on their food, watching the woman with amusement. The big leader had obviously pieced it together as well. He laughed and said, "Xiao Yang, is this a relative of yours? What's going on? Care to share?" Yang Ling smiled. "It's no big deal, it's just my aunt. She owes my family a pile of cash and wanted to borrow even more, which led to a little disagreement." "Oh," the big leader frowned, looking at the aunt. "You know, we Chinese value settling debts. If Xiao Yang doesn't want to lend you more, why make things difficult for him? Plus, Xiao Yang's family isn't exactly rolling in it. Unless there's a good reason, you should pay them back." The leader chose his words carefully. But underneath the diplomacy, he was clearly signaling his support for Yang Ling. The aunt looked like she'd just swallowed a bug. In front of this table, her husband's connections were worthless. She didn't dare argue, just lowered her head and nodded. Su Qiuxia added with a smile, "Leader, young people these days use mobile payments. It's easy to pay back with just a swipe." Su Qiuxia might be an ice queen on the force, but she was fiercely protective. She wasn't about to let Yang Ling get bullied. It was obvious she was asking the aunt to pay up right then and there. Gu Mengmeng, Lin Dong, and Lin Xiaoye were stunned. These big shots were all sticking up for Yang Ling. In just a couple of months, this kid had built a crazy network. Everyone at the table was staring at the aunt, and Song Baoyi even had a slight smirk on his face. She knew she had no choice but to pay the money back. If she refused today, her husband's career would be over tomorrow. Chapter 29. The Wooing of the Two Leaders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Remember, for a sec, she bit the bullet and pulled it out, and Yang Ling, cool as you like, took out his phone. "Venmo, Zelle, or, you still rockin' with Fubao?" he asked with a slight smile. Gu managed a weak smile. Talk about karma. For years, she'd looked down on her brother, Yang Jianjun, and this nephew, Ong Ling. Now, this same nephew had the juice to make her pay up. From now on, she'd have to watch her step around him. The 50,000 yuan hit Yang Ling's account. He gave a satisfied little smile. Ding! You fulfilled your parents' wish for your aunt to repay the money. Wish value +1. Current progress, May 10th. Ding. You've shattered Goo's wish to weasel out of the loan. Attribute point +1. Just a blip on the radar. The top dog was chuckling as he ate. Xiao Yang, you're one talented dude. If you ever open a restaurant, you'll bankrupt half the town. Song Baoyi chimed in, laughing, if he opens a restaurant, I'll be there every day. The room erupted in laughter. Su Qiuxia chuckled, Bureau Chief Song, aren't you afraid your wife will make you sleep on the couch? The laughter doubled, and the atmosphere got even more lively. After a moment of silence, Yang Ling spoke up. Leaders, there's something I've been meaning to bring up. The top dog laughed. Xiao Yang, you're a star. If you've got a problem, spit it out. We'll see what we can do. Yang Ling gave a wry smile. I signed up for the college entrance exam. I'm gonna head to college, which means I need to resign from the team. The room went silent. Then, the top dog smiled. That's great. Young people wanting to get ahead, that's a good thing. With your brains, if you get into college and then become a civil servant, you can serve the people even better. Song Baoyi, looking thoughtful, said, Xiao Yang, education is key. Ever thought about applying to the police academy? Yang Ling was a little stunned. He'd expected resistance about leaving, but they were already trying to recruit him before he even got to college. Playing the long game, huh? Yang Ling's parents were over the moon. Their son was making such a good impression on the bosses. It was a point of pride. And he was finally going to college. Best news ever, Yang Jianjun resolved to support his son through college, no matter the cost. Ding. You fulfilled your parents' wish for you to take the college entrance exam. Wish value +1. Meanwhile, the aunt and her son stared, eyes wide. Lin Dong scoffed. He didn't say anything, but the message was clear, he's going to college. Yeah, right, everyone was lost in their own thoughts, but Su Qiuxia's face was a mix of emotions. She wanted Yang Ling to have a bright future, but the thought of him leaving made her a little sad. Suddenly, someone gasped nearby. The pretty reporter slipped and fell, twisting her ankle. It seemed, Lin Dong, who hadn't taken his eyes off her all night, was the first to rush to her aid. The girl seemed shaken. After Lin Dong helped her up, she rattled off a string of thank yous in English, catching Yang Ling and the others off guard. Seeing that the girl was okay, Song Baoyi chuckled. This is Li Xiao from our propaganda department. She grew up in the States and just came back to China to work, so her Mandarin isn't quite up to par. That explains the English. Yang Ling nodded. Lin Dong, eager to impress the higher-ups, launched into a conversation with Li Xiao in English. Chapter 30. You can speak English too well. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Even though Lin Dong was a good student, his English was no match for Li Xiao, who grew up in England. Li Xiao blinked, clearly not understanding Lin Dong. Yang Ling smiled and stepped in to speak to her in English. He asked if she was hurt, if her feet were bothering her, and politely helped her to the sofa. Li Xiao was thrilled to meet someone who spoke English fluently. Yang Ling's charming way of speaking was undeniably attractive. After a brief chat, she giggled. The leaders were initially surprised, then beamed with approval at Yang Ling. The head leader chuckled to Song Baoyi, Yang speaks English so well, I'm tempted to make him my secretary. Song Baoyi laughed, don't even think about it. Yang Ling will be working at the city bureau soon. The leader laughed, finding Yang Ling more impressive by the minute. Su Qiuxia watched Yang Ling, surprised by how capable he was. But the thought of this jerk flirting with foreign beauties soured her mood. Lin Dong stared, wide-eyed, at Yang Ling. He had always been confident in his English abilities, but Yang Ling, the former loser and cousin he looked down on, spoke it so well. His fluency and perfect grammar made him sound like a Chinese American. Humiliated in his area of expertise, Lin Dong seethed with anger and resentment. Yang Ling's parents were overjoyed, grinning proudly. Their son was amazing. As for his aunt and uncle, their jaws dropped. Yang Ling's display of talent stunned them more than anything in their lives. Ding! You have fulfilled Li Xiao's wish to communicate with someone, wish value +1. Ding! You shattered Lin Dong's wish to show off to a beautiful woman, ability value +1. Yang Ling smirked. After a few more casual words, he returned to his seat. As it got late, the leaders talked with Yang Ling, offered some encouraging words, and left. As they said goodbye, Yang Ling and Li Xiao exchanged WeChat contacts under Su Qiuxia's disapproving gaze, and he saw them downstairs. His aunt and other relatives also left, dejected. His uncle had lost everything. He didn't get the loan and lost $50,000 back in the house. After his parents cleaned up, Yang Ling transferred the $50,000 to his father. After chatting for a bit, they finally got to the main point. He asked, "Dad, didn't you say you had an announcement today?" Yang Jianjun slapped his forehead. Almost forgot, that he pulled a yellowed letter from the drawer and handed it to Yang Ling. "Read it yourself." Yang Ling smiled wryly as he read. The letter was from his grandfather. It mentioned a childhood pact between his grandfather and a friend who had since passed away, promising their future grandchildren in marriage. Since the firstborn was a boy, the arrangement fell to Yang Ling. Yang Jianjun sighed. "Your grandfather's been gone for years, but this friend never forgot. The letter arrived today. He's bringing his granddaughter to meet you in a few days. I also sent him your photo and number, so be ready." Yang Ling knew this must be the CEO wife worth billions that the system mentioned. He didn't expect it to play out like this, but what could he do?